Hey, did you see my 1 million subscribers on YouTube? Well, I wish I had a million. But listening to Sebastian, I also realized that I don't need a million subscribers. What he's gonna talk about in his session today is that it's a lot more about engagement than the vanity metrics that most people look at. So let us listen to Sebastian as he unfolds his strategy of working with YouTube and making it potentially your most successful online channel.
Hey ad world, it's wonderful to be here and get to share all of this crazy, amazing knowledge bombs that I have for you, because in today's talk, I'm gonna share with you how to turn your YouTube into your most profitable organic revenue stream in under 10 months. Okay, so my name is Sebastian Beja. I'm the former head of growth and current YouTube strategist of Mindvalley, which is the leading personal growth company in the world. And just 2 years ago, we were really far from even being a revenue source, or let alone be a traffic source, okay? And for this presentation, I only have 2 rules, okay? Rule number 1 is just pay attention fully. Be fully here, okay? Shut the door, shut the phone, have your, your notes, your notebook, be fully here, okay? And the second rule is just take action from what you learn, because none of this works if we don't actually take action. And for that, at the end of my talk, I'm going to give you a surprise, okay? So I have a surprise for you at the end. And I want to share with you the reason why I'm so passionate about traffic, about revenue streams, about all of this is really came down to because when I was 12, I wanted to make some money, right? And I remember I had some money left over. And I grabbed that money and I bought some candy. And instead of selling lemonade or whatever, I put a beautiful table right outside my house. I had my candy there. And then I just waited, right? And I waited and waited and no one came the first day. Like no one bought any candy. And I was like, wow, that's actually kind of weird. And it started to hurt a lot that no one was coming. Then the next day, only one car I see pass by, right? And I launch myself to the car and I'm like, candy, right? And he bought one candy. And that was the beginning and the end of my first business. But it really taught me a valuable lesson, right? Which was like my product, candy, was good. I was, a beautiful little child when I was 12. But there was no people, there was no traffic, there was no one coming there. And this got me into this journey of self-discovery, of marketing, of search engines, of content marketing, to really know what does it take to promote a product, to promote your product, to promote your event, to promote anything that you want. You need people seeing, you need eyeballs, okay? So that fast forward got me involved into YouTube and how to use video to get attention and to get awareness and to get traffic and eyeballs so that eventually, people can buy your product, can whatever it is that you need to promote. So all of these lessons that I have for you is really deciphering the patterns on how to make your content, okay, really generate a big ROI, okay, a big return of investment. And the patterns, all of these patterns really come from managing, consulting, testing more than 20 YouTube channels with a total of 10 million subscribers and generating over 100 million views a year across multiple industries and multiple languages, okay? And I came up with my 4-step method called ROCK, okay? And ROCK has taken 5,000 hours of testing and experimenting in the YouTube platform, and I will just condense it here in the next 20 minutes. But why is this important right now? Why does it matter to YouTube right now? I don't know if you know, but it was reported that faster growth in revenue has been reported by business using video content versus businesses that are not using it, making video content the type of content with the best return on investment. Now, there was another source that says that a like a third party of online activity, is spend watching videos online, making YouTube the most popular video search engine with over 1 billion hours of video consumed every single day, which equals to driving 157% increase in organic traffic for businesses. Now, I don't know if you know, but YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world after Google. And, okay, I'm gonna share with you a secret, so come closer, okay? A contact from inside YouTube actually revealed to me that YouTube in third world countries, listen closely, is the biggest, okay? More than Google. This means that people actually search more on YouTube than on Google, which opens up a huge opportunity for all of us marketers, okay? Now, listen closely, because what really makes YouTube the most valuable platform is this interesting nuance. And if you only take this concept, which I called compound viewership. So YouTube, as time goes by, your video views actually increase, okay? You have to do some of the things that I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you about optimization and all of that. But as opposed to, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that is called one-off viewership. One-off viewership means that all of a sudden your video blows up and then it dies over time, okay? So one of them actually increases over time, it gets compounded, and one of them dies. It's kind of like the example of, have they actually send you a viral video for like 2 years ago? Like, hey, check this viral video on Facebook 2 years ago. No. It's usually recent, right? Recency. But on YouTube, you could be watching videos for like 5 years old, 6 years old, 1 year old, and you don't even care. So it gets compounded. And it's similar to money. YouTube, in a way, what would you prefer? That your money gets compounded over time, so you have little money and then you have a lot of money, or that you have, a lot of money and then it decreases over time, which is like the other platforms. Okay, so that's a really interesting nuance and interesting content of what really makes YouTube the most valuable platform. So now I'm gonna go back to my model, to ROC, okay? So what does ROC mean? First of all, this model focuses in what doesn't change. What doesn't change, because I had to make sense of content. I have to make sense of making things scalable and replicable. And us as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as heads of marketing, or even managers, we want things that are scalable, that are replicable, and that we can make sense of them. So that's why I created ROC, which is these 4 principles. The first principle, the first step is called research, okay? That's the R of research. Then the second step is optimization. Then the third step is content. And the fourth step is what I call kaching, right? Which basically means conversion. That's the fourth step. So I'm gonna begin and gonna walk you through pretty much the 4 steps and what you have to do so that you're able to pretty much extract revenue from YouTube in a really, really effective way, in a really, really scalable way, okay? So step 1 is research, okay? So what's the principle of research? If you see organic traffic, like content marketing, and pretty much in YouTube, it's all really about being found. It's about how many customers search for you, search for what you have. It's what I call, it's about being searchable. It's about being searchable. So here's an example, okay? For example, in YouTube, you can put speed reading, okay? You can put speed reading. And here in the first page of YouTube, you will see 2 of our videos about speed reading, okay? Now that's intentional. We actually did optimization so that when people search for that, we actually appear in the first page. But not only that, we also appear in the recommended section, okay? So research, the main premise that you have to really understand, so pay attention, is we need to find the keywords that your audience uses to find the solution to their problem. So we need to find what people are typing for in order for us to understand what they need, okay? So it's not really what you want, it's really what they want, right? Because you're not paying you from one pocket to the other one, they're paying you, right? So the tools I use for research, right? And this could be your typical market research, but the typical tools that I use, it's one of them called Ahrefs, right? Ahrefs.com. And this really allows you to go deeper into the search volume of specific keywords, of search terms, right? And really, really build up a strategy that way. I also use TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is tool that gets connected to your YouTube channel, and it actually recommends you different keywords and different niches according to the content that you do. But here, the objective is that you know how many people are searching for what you have or for what you are promoting, okay? Now, another tool that I have recently started using a lot is YouTube Trends. So many people don't know this, but in Google Trends, when you go in Google Trends, there's a way that you can actually find YouTube Trends. And this has been really, really crucial because after the whole pandemic, behavior started to change, right? Habits started to change. How people were searching for things started to change. So a lot of these tools like Ahrefs or TubeBuddy didn't really cut them, but YouTube Trends, it really allows us to know the keywords that are trending now and to find what are the new keywords that are trending now, right? And so we can create content, and that content can attract people. So YouTube Trends is the tool that I really use, okay? So that's when it comes to research, okay? Now, that brings us to step 2, which is optimization. Now, I could say that this could be one of the most important steps, optimization, that many people actually miss. And it's a pity because they're spending more time, more energy, more resources when they could actually just do optimization right. So what is optimization? Okay, so now we researched some keywords that our audience is looking for. Let's say speed reading, learning faster, whatever, okay? And then what we use is we use those keywords to optimize our content, okay? So we add those keywords in the title, we add it in the description, we add it in the tags, right? And there's in YouTube, there's a place called video tags. We add it in our hashtags. So we optimize the video, okay? So here's an example in the screen, exactly showing you that. So for example, this video has like how to speed read, right? How to learn faster, read faster, how to learn, fast learning, learn faster. So we've optimized that. We also optimized the title, like how to double your learning speed, okay? That was intentional. And we do this because we want to appear in what I call YouTube's holy grail. We not only want to appear in the first page of Google, but pay attention, we want to get to the recommended section. The recommended section, the suggested section, this is literally where half of our viewership comes from, okay? And this is kind of like the YouTube's online word of mouth. And that is why we're optimizing with step 1, with research, the title, the video, the description, the tags, so that we increase our probability to get to the recommended section. So imagine not even being able to paying for half of your traffic, right? Still, here in marketing, in AdWords, like we know that the power of word of mouth, right? So imagine the recommended section is that same effect, okay? Now the plugin that I use so I can see other competitors' tags and video tags, it's a tool that I call vidIQ, okay? And this is a plugin that I use, and it allows me to not only see my tags, but it allows me to see other people's tags and how they're optimized as well, okay? So that is when it comes to optimization. Now we're going into content, okay? And this is a crucial part because there's a lot of lies out there when it comes to content. So I'm gonna reveal the 2 big fat lies that you've probably heard and you're still a bit confused about it. At least I was a couple of years ago. So the first one is, have you ever heard content is king? Content is king. Or just create more and more and more content and it will work. Don't worry. Well, you know what? That is BS, okay? That is total BS. Because it's not content that is king. It's, listen closely, optimized content is king. Not only content. So Gary Vee is slightly wrong on this one, okay? Now, optimized content that has your keywords in the title, in the description, in the tags, really goes a really long way when it comes to impact. And we see this a lot. For example, If we publish 30 optimized videos, that really equals 100 non-optimized videos, okay? So it really saves you time, energy, resources to get to the same result. Actually, I wish that we would have done this way better in the past, because I can tell you that our channels will be 3 times bigger, if not more, if we done this 2 years ago when we just first started, because we just pushed out content and more content and more content, right? But we didn't actually optimize it properly. We didn't really tie it up according to what people were searching for. So step 3 is we need to be creating content based on the keywords, based on the search term that your audience actually uses, that your audience actually needs. Okay, so step 1, you did the research. Step 2, now you optimize the content, the video. And step 3, basically you're creating the content from those keywords, from what the audience actually wants. Because this not only creates like awareness, it also creates buyer intent. It also creates people actually search intention, right? If they have a high search intention, then they're actually wanting to not only look at your content, but also understand the solution that you have, okay? I'm also gonna tackle, what about short or long content? How long is long? How short is short, right? So I have an interesting story. I was sitting down with the head of Facebook Asia, and I asked her, hey, you know, it's always really confusing. I don't know if I should create short content or long content, and how short is short, how long is long, like, please tell me. And she gave me this analogy and this way that platforms use to really evaluate if it's short or long content. So listen closely. She said, just watch a person watch their behavior on when they consume the content. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, for example, if you're watching YouTube, most likely you're gonna lean backwards and you're gonna watch it more calm. So lean backwards content means what? Means longer content. It's like we're watching a movie. It's like we're watching, Netflix or something. We're kind of leaning backwards. And then she said, see how people consume other platforms like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok. They're like leaning forward. They're kind of like leaning forward with their phone, and it's kind of fast paced. So leaning forward content is fast paced content, right? It's content between, 5 seconds all the way to like 3-4 minutes. Right? And then longer content is more for like 4 minutes all the way to like, it could be 1 hour. But usually the best one in YouTube, it's like around 7 to 12 minutes long. Now, maybe you have heard about this new feature. Maybe if you're already like, geeking out in YouTube, called YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts basically is a way where YouTube is competing, with Instagram Reels, with TikTok. But it's its own feature, meaning it's not really competing with YouTube's main algorithm of longer content. How am I using YouTube Shorts? I really recommend that if you have a YouTube channel or if you're thinking about it, it's also good to start to experiment, because what I use it as bait. So I use short videos, okay, which is usually what has been working for us. It's like 15 to 25 seconds. Really like golden nuggets when it comes to videos, and we use it as bait so that we attract people's attention fast, and then they see basically our vast amount of content. So that's on regards with YouTube Shorts. Now, lastly is the script, right? Which is like, oh my God, but like if I create content, like I heard that the script is important, and I'm not gonna lie, okay? The script is actually important. Now, my question is, how would you like to have a structure, okay, of a time-tested script to keep buyers or potential customers engaged, educated, and most importantly, that they actually make a purchase? So I'm gonna give you that structure, which I've tested a lot, okay? So the magical script structure is a 6-step script structure to pretty much get customers engaged, but also get them to buy. Because we not only want to go viral and be popular, we also want them to make a purchase. So it goes like this. You can see it in the screen, but it's the overall video length is between 7 to 12 minutes, okay? The first part, we have a hook, and there's a hook. It's basically like an intriguing one-liner that aims to either shock or educate the buyer, okay? And that's like around 15 to 30 seconds. If we're able to keep attention for 15 to 30 seconds, usually we're able to keep it throughout the video. Then 3, we tell them why they should stay till the end. Because if they stay till the end, a metric called our average view duration, our consumption rate increases, which actually makes our video more recommended. And then we go into number 4, into the valuable content. Now, this is key, okay? This is what people are searching for, okay? Not what you want to tell them, but what they actually search for, what they actually research in step 1, okay? And then I break it down into four more steps, which is like 4A, which is you start talking about why is this important. You share the problem, you share some facts, you share some statistics that you found, okay? That's usually like around 3 minutes. And then you can tell them about what are some solutions that you found, okay? So what have you learned about it? What are some solutions? It could be 1 to 3 solutions. And then you tell them how you came up with your own solution and why it works, okay? Why it works. And then you can talk about who has this worked for as well, okay? And then at the end, the step 5 and 6 is you have a personal introduction, okay? So why they should listen to you. So note that we're not introducing ourselves in the beginning of the video because people don't care about you, okay? They care about fixing their problem. They care about fixing their need. And so then at the end, after we gave value, we put the problem, we put the solutions, we put how you came up with it, why it works. Then we actually introduce ourselves. We do maybe like a 5-second introduction. And at the end, the most important thing is we send them somewhere. We do a call to action, okay? And usually, the best thing is to send them to where you can contact them the fastest. This should be 10 to 15 seconds. And it's something like, hey, if you're interested, if you want to go deeper with these ideas, just click the link below in the description, okay? Where you will get X, Y, Z. Now, this structure, it really depends on what niche you are, on what industry and what market. So just use it as a structure for you to kind of plug and play how it works for you and your specific business, okay? Now, I'm just gonna give you some examples after I give you the structure so that maybe after the presentation, you can go and look at that video and just then see the structure. So this video, the speed learning half the time by Jim Quick, it has like 11 million views. This is a really good example of a really good structure of a video. Now, this example number 2 is why your best ideas come in the shower, okay? And this has around like 50,000 views. And this is a really good structure, 7 minutes, and it really shows the structure of how we're taking the buyer and the customer into this structure. So be sure to check those out, okay? And one key thing after this is redistribution, right? And maybe you already have, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have other things. And I would really urge that the right distribution is key. Not to distribute, the right distribution is key. And here is the logic, okay? What we usually do is we create content for YouTube, and I call it the book, okay? So we have the book, that's the content for YouTube. And then we have a chapter. The chapter is usually, could be Facebook, could be IGTV. That's the chapter of that book, okay? And then, so that's basically the book, okay? You can even do it with me, right? The book is YouTube. Then you have the chapter, IGTV, Facebook. And then you have the paragraph that could be your IG post. And then the sentence could be your IG story. So we create content for YouTube, and then we slice and dice for other platforms. Now, how this looks like really practically is, let's say that you have 3 ways to be happier. Then you already have 3 videos for Facebook and for Instagram, right? You have one of the ways there, right? Maybe you have one golden nugget, then you have, maybe you have one golden nugget from that one way, and that could be an IG post. And then maybe you have like an intro, like a one-liner that could be like an IG story. So the right distribution is key, okay? Now, usually when it comes to lengths, I would recommend it's like YouTube 10-minute videos, LinkedIn 10-minute video, then Facebook 3 minutes, then IG post 60 seconds, then IG story 15 seconds, then Twitter 30 seconds, okay? So you can basically cut, slice, and dice directly from YouTube. And now we get to step 4. Okay, this is step 4 is ka-ching. It's conversion. Okay, it's the step that I like the most. And this is basically send your audience to one place. Okay, avoid sending them everywhere. Just avoid sending them completely everywhere. And here's an example for one of the channels that we manage. So the first description, okay, it literally says, hey, like become the best version of yourself, go here, right? So we're sending from the description, we're sending people to our webinar directly, okay? We're not sending people to our Facebook, we're not sending people to our Instagram, we're not sending people to our mom, to our grandma, we're not sending people anywhere. We literally treat, hear me out, we literally treat the description as an email. We put a top CTA with a benefit, and then we also do a lower CTA, like we have a second CTA in the same description. We do the same thing for our pinned comment. There's people commenting in your videos, so literally adding that pinned comment and then sending people to one place is crucial, okay? This literally goes a long way, because if you're sending people to multiple places, okay, you basically have analysis paralysis. You have like the paradox of choice, and then they don't do anything. So this is really, really crucial, okay? We optimize the description. We put our link there. We put it in our card CT in our pinned comment. We also use it in our cards and our end screens. We're always using those to send people to our webinars, to our landing pages, basically to something free. It could be a free resource. It could be your community. It could be a free PDF. Whatever you decide to. Okay. And lastly, I want to share with you guys what I call like hacking ROAS, okay? Like your return on ad spend. How do you increase that, right? And usually, if you enable monetization on your videos and you're already getting some organic viewership, you can actually become your own advertisers. You can advertise on your own videos, okay? On your basically your own digital real estate. And this will automatically increase your ROAS. We have seen ROAS increase even from 200 to 1,000, okay? Because it's like you're promoting to your audience that already actually is seeing your content, and you're actually doing a converting ad, okay? So let me just recap, make a summary of these steps. Step 1 was research, okay, from ROC, research. You find the keywords your audience uses to find a solution to their problem, okay? You go to Ahrefs, you go to TubeBuddy, you go to YouTube, to Google Trends, YouTube Trends. Then step 2 is optimization, okay? So you use those keywords that you found in step 1, and you optimize your content, your titles, your descriptions, your tags, your hashtags. And then step 3 is content, okay? So you create content based on the keywords your audience uses. Not what you want, not what you want to tell them, what they need, okay? And then step 4, ka-ching, okay, is send your audience to one place and avoid sending them everywhere. So remove all those links to your Facebooks and your Instagrams and all of that, okay? Now, I want you just to take a moment, okay, right here, and just write down what is one thing you've learned today from this talk that you will take action tomorrow. What is one thing you have learned today that you will take action tomorrow? Okay, so just write it down. And your gift, maybe you were only like, okay, I'm only for the gift. So for your gift, okay, you can just go to pixel.me, Sebastian-AdWorld, and this is basically a sheet. Okay, it's a Google sheet. It contains the tools that I've mentioned. It contains the structure of the script. It contains the example of the video so that you don't lose any time, watching them, and that you lost your notes or anything. And finally, the last message that I want to give you is, one of my mentors says, imperfect action makes you rich, makes you richer, okay? So, if you want to send me a message on LinkedIn, on Facebook, right? With your one action step, okay? So I can see, if this was valuable for you. Like, what are you going to do? Give me your feedback. And, I'm going to pick some of them and maybe give them a free consultation. So I cannot wait to see your feedback, that you implement these strategies. And bye-bye. Thank you for listening.